Welcome to my Floss Tube channel, Stitching Fleur. I'm Fleur and I'll be talking to you about my stitching. Now it's been a bit of a break. I didn't film in December and I didn't film in January, so I have a bit to show you. So we'll get straight into it to start with. See how we go. I do have notes, so if you hear some shuffling I do apologise. So my first whip that I did, and we'll start with December. So in December, first whip that I did was Death by Cross Stitch. Looks like this. By Long Dog Samplers. Very popular. Quite a few people doing it at the moment. I know Emily from my Eclectic Possessions is doing it, Tammy at Colour Cascades, Pam Reed at Pam's Crafty Corner. I am doing this on 28 count deep burgundy even weave with DMC 822. Now when you saw it, I'd gone through, let me see, page 1, page 2, so this bottom bit down here, this section here, is what I did in December. And you can sort of see the start of what I've done in January. This is Death by Cross Stitch. 28 count, deep burgundy even weave with DMC 822. It's a fun stitch. I've said it many times before, the repetitive patterns make it very easy just to sit down and just run with one of these borders throughout the piece. You know, it's a very easy stitch, no thinking. So that's my progress from December. So lots of back stitching in this little bit here. I'll see if we can get a bit of a closer shot. That's the bottom of the page. So lots of little back stitch down here. But coming on really good. The next page I have to do is the last bottom page of that side, and then I'll start working across the top again. So that's Death by Cross Stitch. Next one that I did in December was one that I've been working on for a little while. Is Barbara Anna's 5-part series, A New World. This is what it looks like. Normally I would show you the cards, but as I finished it, I'll show you the piece. This is what it looks like. And this is on 28 count Earthen Lagana by Picture This Plus. And I'll just run through each world quickly and then show you the bottom one. So I've got, bear with me for a moment. This is world number 1, part number 1, which is the Night of All Fears. I've changed all the skin on this to 1/1, and I've used DMC 470 to give it that witchy skin colour. It's probably one of my favourite ones. The second one is Plentiful Meadows, which looks like this. This one only has one house, so it was relatively quick to do. They're very small, they're about 3 inches by about 12 to 15 inches long, so quite a quick stitch. So this is Plentiful Meadows, Crazy Animals with Barnyard Creatures. That's Plentiful Meadows. Then world number 3 is Deep Into the Woods with the weird bears and the interesting squirrel. That's Deep Into the Woods. And then world number 4 is A Trip Into Town, which looks like this. And that's where we got to in the last video. So all I had to do was the 5th and last world. Now this one is Over the Seas. This one had quite a few people. It's got the fishermen, it's got the mermaids, mermen, and their skin's all done over 1. And this is what it looks like. So that is Over the Seas, part 5 of Barbara Anna's A New World series. All completed on 28 count earthen Lagana. I really enjoyed stitching this one. It's a lot of little motifs. And I was going to say the houses are probably the biggest issue, because there's like between 13 to 15 different colours in those houses that you see, especially that fourth world with all the houses. But really fun, nice bright colours, and a lot of fun to stitch. So that one's completed and done. The next piece that I worked on in December was Little House Needleworks Needleworker. I've been wanting to do this one for quite a while. Seems like the right thing to do being a cross stitcher. Now this one is being stitched on a 32 count bark linen I picked up from Sew It All here in Australia. The only amendment that I made to this particular design, and I don't actually have the picture because I've actually gifted it to Deborah, but the only change I made was to change the needle to gold petite treasure braid. I like Krennic, that's my preference, but on this occasion I had a spare spool, and so I just utilised it. And I used the John James petite gold plated needle, so it just personalises it. So it's down here, gold needle, and I used the Weeks Dye Works threads for this one. So that one's done as well. So I started and completed that in December. It's a really nice coloured fabric. The next one that I finished in December was Ornamental Joy by Cottage Needleworks. This was a gift from Kristen, otherwise known as Stitchy Mum on Instagram. She was doing a giveaway as a celebration of her followers. I think it was 500 followers that she had. And she actually sent me not only the fabric, the chart, but also the Weeks Dye Works and the DMC. So in this particular chart, and I'll show it to you. Yep. This is what it looks like. The Weeks Dye Works that are used in this are for the red, which is Louisiana hot sauce, and for the dark brown that you can see, which is hazelnut. The Louisiana hot sauce is really, really good using the Weeks Dye Works because there is a great variegation in it. So I really enjoyed doing that one. I was going to add like a sparkly Krennic in it, but the way that I plan on having this framed, it would be more sort of vintage, dark brownish coloured frame, so I just wanted to keep it neutral. But that was a really fun stitch, so thank you very much, Kristen, Stitchy Mum on Instagram, for that piece. And the other thing that I worked on in December was my Reflectoire piece. Now this is the 14-month mystery sampler, stitch along, it's roses. It's a roses sampler, so each month comes out, there's another piece to it. So it started in October 2016. It's not one that I plan on keeping up with, I just do it when I finish a piece early, when I feel like it. I don't really have a rotation. So this is stitched on, let's get this up. So this is stitched on 32 count cream linen that I just purchased from our local fabric store Spotlight here in Australia. And this is part one. So, I don't know if I can hold this to show you. So normally around the arbor bit here, there were like some naked cherubs. I'll pop a picture in here now so you can see sort of what it will look like. It's a little blurred because obviously they blur it out so they don't reveal what pieces. Still yet to come. I've removed the cherubs that were hanging off the arbor, and I'm just going to continue the vines down those. And then in the middle it just has the words roses sampler in the middle. So I'm not going to stitch that, I'm going to put a quote in there instead. I'm stitching this one with Cottage Garden Threads Plum Pudding number 708. These are really fun to use. I know I explained it in my last video, but they're pre-cut lengths, they're really easy. The actual thread itself is just gorgeous to work with. It's not silk, but it's really nice to work with. So again, I'm not actually doing this stitch along to keep up with each month. It's just a piece that I pull out when I finish a particular piece that I'm working on early, or if the mood gets me and I feel like working on it. So that's Reflector Soir, Rosa Sampler Mystery Stitch Along. You can go onto their website, which I'll link down below so that you can see it. The only other start that I had in December was a Mirabilla. I'm just going to get for you now. It is Mirabilla's The Dreamer. Looks like this. It is out of print, so if you find it, buy it. It's a big one. I'm stitching this one on 32 count Locky Lugana. I started this one about the 28th of December last year. And it looks like this. So I've done the top. There's only 1 or 2 blended threads in that top ornate bit there, and I've just started coming down on the right hand side where the chair begins. You can see just a bit of the purple and the golds there. So this one is one that I was going to start at the beginning of the year. I know that Sarah the Tipsy Stitcher and Birgit we're going to join in on around May. So there'll be a couple of us. So if you're interested in doing the Dreamer, or you have it in your stash and you're just looking for an excuse to start it, we're on Instagram. So do join us. So that's a big one. I'll probably continue doing that further into May. Pick it up then. I've got a few things on the go at the moment. So that's what I did in December. So it was busy. In amongst Christmas, kids going on school holidays, I have 4 children. So it's always very, very hectic. So December was pretty full on, but got some progress done and I'm really happy with that. Now, as you know, I do Death by Cross Stitch. It's quite a dark fabric, and I spoke in my last video of my light dye in November, but I was very lucky and my husband was able to change the transformer plugs on it, and it revived less bulbs. It's an LED, it's a Triumph LED light. I got my husband to take a photo before I did this video so you can see where it's at now. And I tend to stitch in the evenings. I put the kids to bed. It's generally when my husband's on shift or he has other things that he has to do with his photography. And I like to sit down when there's no one who needs my attention and stitch for a few hours. I can only stitch for about 3 or 4 hours at a time. And even then I tend to get up and wander around and get moving. Anyway, so Death by Cross Stitch. I love working on it. It is a dark fabric and my light is amazing when it's working. When it's not, it's a bit of a struggle. But again, when I mentioned to my husband that my light was dying, like at the moment it is down to its last 1 or 2 LED lights, and even then the light on it is terrible. You get more light lighting a candle. But he came up with a fantastic idea. On our 4 drive we have, because obviously we've been in the northwest, we've only just come back from there, we have the LED light bars on our car so that you can see the wildlife, the kangaroos, the cows, the emus, safety. But with the laws changing we had to take one off, so we had a spare one and he suggested that I should use that as my light. I'm going to show you what it looks like. It looks like this. It's massively bright. I mean, you can see for meters, many meters, the wildlife coming when you're driving. So no, I appreciate it, but no, I think we'll bleach my fabric, it's that bright. So it is something that I need to look at, but what I'm finding is I'm changing my stitching times at the moment. It's sort of stitching in the mid-evening and trying to make do as best I can, or work on pieces that are slightly lighter fabric. But it is something that I'll have to look at replacing, but we'll see as we go. So I'm going to move on to January. So in January, I was still working on the Mirabilla The Dreamer that I just showed you. I did that for a little while. I also stitched a small piece which is Lizzie Kate's I Cannot Count My Day Complete Until Needle, Thread and Fabric Meet, and it came in a pack like this. I just bought it from 123 Stitch last year. It comes with the little buttons, it comes with the fabric, it comes with the bonus chart. I didn't want the fabric, I wanted something lighter, so I used, I'll just get a piece of paper to put behind it, 32 count cream linen, and it does call for Weeks Dye Works, but I just use the DMC conversion for this, and I like it better. I don't think there's enough variation in the Weeks Dye Works. So this is what it looks like. So it's a nice quick stitch, only took 2, maybe 3 days to do. So I changed it, so it's all DMC colours, and then the spools that we have here, and I'll just see if we can get a closer shot. So the spools that I have, I've actually done satin stitch, so it looks like spools of thread. I really like it. It's a beautiful piece. I've always done, you know, if you see spools of threads and things like that on stitching, I've always done it with satin stitch. And it was funny enough because I was watching one of Vonna, the Twisted Stitcher, the guru, she's amazing. She was commenting that she does the same thing too. She does all in cross stitch pieces where it's required that you stitch a spool of thread. She does the same stitch. That's fantastic. Now this particular piece, I have the leftover button. There's 2 buttons because obviously the bonus chart. So I use the pink one. There's like a little blue one here. Bonus chart. Obviously the pattern for it is on the back of this, and this is the fabric that it came with. So now that I've finished with it and don't require it, and I don't stitch my pieces more than once unless it's a charity stitch, I'm going to give it away. So if you would like to be considered for it, just pop in the comments, yes please. And I will draw that. Like I said, it's got the blue button. It does call for the pink button on the chart, but you can use the blue one. You could do a little bit of ribbon embroidery. You could omit it altogether. But that's something that I'll pass on to one of the viewers. And that's Lizzie Kate's I Cannot Count My Day Complete. So the next thing I did in January is my Heaven and Earth designs. I know, I can't believe it. I started my Star Weaver. Star Weaver is my first Heaven and Earth design piece that I ever purchased. I was so eager, I purchased 2 of them. This is what it looks like. It's by the late Tom Cross. It's got the big star at the top. Gorgeous blue skies, down to the wizard who's creating it. Love it. Now I've explained why it has been such a long time since I've actually done this piece, because of obviously the dye lot, being experienced with multiple skeins, so I've figured that out, and so this year I'm back on it. So in January I completed the first page, first full page. This is 25 count, 1/1 on pale blue Lugana. It's so beautiful. I'm really, really happy with it. I love it. And for my birthday, that was in December, I got a serger. So my fabrics are all serged. So when you saw this last time on my previous video, it had masking tape, because back then that's what I used. And now it's all serged and beautiful and pretty. So that is my Star Weaver 1/1 full crosses on 25 count pale blue Lugana. So I start from the right and move to the left because of the way that I do my stitches. So that's the first page. It's fabulous. I love it. The next thing that I did in January was my Fingers of God piece, which is another Heaven and Earth design. And as I explained in previous videos, the reasoning behind that. I had a bit of an accident. Anyway, this one I had been looking for fabric, like to order it, but then obviously with Christmas and 4 children, and it's just one of those things that was a little bit out of realm for me to purchase at the time. And at Christmas, Michelle put up a post on the Heaven and Earth official page asking people about racks other than charts, like things that you might be looking for, like needle threaders, fabric, threads, you name it, that sort of thing, needle motors. And my husband was kind enough to pop up a post explaining that I was wanting to restart this, that I was looking for fabric, but I had put it off because we had other things that we had to take care of. And Michelle at Heaven and Earth Designs, and I can't speak highly enough about her. She's just a very giving, amazing woman. Her and Bob, her whole family, and the whole team at Heaven and Earth Designs, just they're very generous. The way that they run their business is just phenomenal. And she sent me a piece of 25 count easy count, so I could restart my Fingers of God. So as soon as it turned up, I started it. And I've had a page finish already. So I'll show you a picture. Now the picture on my piece of paper is not as good as the real thing, so I'll show you it, but I'll also insert a picture of the real image. So this is Fingers of God by Golden Orb Designs, but it's my husband, Jeff Pritchard. And this is a picture from Finucane Island. And this is where it's at. Let me just pop a piece of paper behind so you can't see through it. I hope you can see this okay. This is 25 count easy count Lucana. First time I've ever worked on it, and I really, really like it, especially for this one. So let's see if I can do this without. So this little strip that you see down here is page 9. So it's a partial page, but it's a page. It counts. And this is page 8. So there's quite a lot of confetti, but the confetti is what makes the difference. And it's going to look fantastic. So this is my start on Fingers of God. And it's looking fantastic. So this is the sky area. And as you can see on my frame of my Minions cover, I use a graph gripper. I've actually turned the chart page inside out so you can't see it. But I just attach it on there onto my graph gripper while I'm stitching, and that way I can see it as I go. Don't have to, I can just get cozy and rotate the page when I need to. These are fantastic. If you don't have these, they attach to your Q-snaps. Really, really handy. You can pick them up from 1, 2, 3 stitch. I use them on my Heaven and Earth. That's it. So that's my Fingers of God finally started. 1 page down, another one almost done. Now the other things that I've started on in January, because I've done quite a bit in January, is the Stitchrovia released a charity stitch along, and all the proceeds from this stitch along go to Mind UK, which helps those with mental illness, to give them the support and tools that they need. It's a bit like Headspace and Lifeline here in Australia. It's a really, really good cause. I mean, who doesn't know or hasn't experienced some form of depression, anxiety at some time in your life, or you may be battling with it now, or have family or friends that are. This is a really, really great cause that Emma has, who is the owner of Stitchrovia, has teamed with. So the first part of it, I'll show you the first part because the second part's been released already as well, this is what it looks like. So it's Quotes to Live By. There's 9 parts to it, and they're released each month. So the first one was just the main title with 1 quote and the border. And then the second one, I'll show you it because it only came out the other day, is the next quote. Have patience, all things, with all things, most of all yourself. Now, you've probably seen it all over Floss Tube. There are a lot of people doing it for a very important cause. If it's not something that's really your cup of tea, I would suggest stitching it to give to one of your local support networks. So for us here in Australia, there are many headspace outlets. So if it's not something that you can see hanging on your wall but you would like to stitch it, it's something that you could pass on to Headspace, Lifeline, places like that, where this sort of thing may just be that encouragement that, you know, a person walking in there may just need. So this is Stitch Rovia's charity sale in conjunction with Mind UK. I'll link both Mind UK and Stitch Rovia's charity sale links below. It's really fun to stitch. It's got quite a lot of stitches obviously in that main header part. It's not something that I can foresee me keeping up with each month, but I'll just stitch it as I go. I don't have an official rotation. I know it probably seems like it. I find that I stitch, you know, on something for maybe 1 week, and then I rotate on something else and do it for 1 week. But there's no strict rotation, like I must work on this for a week and I must work on that for a week. Something may keep my attention for 3 days, and then something else might keep my attention for more than a week to 10 days. It really just depends on what it is. I don't stress about it. It is what it is. No deadlines. The next piece that I stitched in January is the Under the Sea stitch along with Lakeside Needlecrafts. Now, to show you how I keep my bits and pieces, I keep them in these little plastic folders because they're PDFs and they're just released each month. So when I get them, I print them, I pop them in here, I do them, and then they go away. I don't re-stitch things. I only stitch things once unless it's for a charity. So this is Under the Sea Stitch Along. January was the octopus, which looks like this. Very cute. With the crazy eyeball. And I'll also show you February's because that came out on Thursday and I finished that yesterday. And it is the shark, which looks like this. So again, I just keep those in those sleeves till I've completed them. Now this one I'm not stitching on. They have like a custom piece of fabric that they've done for this stitch along that has like the, it's blue, it's ombre, and it's got like the light effects of like an ocean type appearance of water running over top of it. It's cool, but I already had a piece of blue fabric. This is why I chose to participate in this stitch along, because I already had the fabric on hand. So this is Under the Sea Stitch Along by Lakeside Needlecrafts in conjunction with Doreen Jones, who is the designer. She's brilliant. You've probably seen her work everywhere. This is a 32 count piece of Lugana in Summer Breeze from Hand Dye Fabrics by Stephanie. Let's see if I can. And this is what it looks like. The octopus and the fish and the seaweed border, some bubbles in there. So they're just a really quick stitch, really fun, nice and bright. Just, yeah, they're really fun. So if you're considering it, it's certainly nice and bright, beautiful, quick stitch. So that's January and February's block. So you got a bit of a sneak peek there for next month's video. And that's what I did in January. In February, I've just been stitching on a bit of my Stitch Rovia charity sale sometimes, depending on the lighting, and also on my Fingers of God piece to try and get through that. For the rest of February, just to give you an idea of what I'll be doing, I've already done the Under the Sea Stitch Along, so that one's done and dusted for February. I'm going to finish my page on my Fingers of God piece. Very excited to see that page finished. I'd like to say that I'd have a page of Star Weaver finished, but I think February being a short month, that's not going to happen. I'm going to try and push on with Stitch Rovia when the mood hits me. And also in February, on the 17th, is a release again from Lakeside Needlecrafts, but with a different designer. This one is with Little Beach Hut. You might have seen some of her work. She's got the little otters that are holding hands. But this is an insect stitch along. I have a piece of fabric. There is a custom piece of fabric that looks like the background of this. It's got like the leaf effect. But I already have a green piece of fabric in my stash, so I'll be using that. So it is a 28 count piece of Celtic Christmas Jaslyn. And it looks like this. It's a pretty good fabric for an insect garden type stitch along. They did little sneak peeks, so I think it'll look really, really good. So again, I keep those in a little plastic folder because they're PDFs, little stitch alongs. I stitch the month and then I move it out of there so I can keep track of where I'm at. So that's what I have planned for February, and I might try and get a few more stitches into Death by Cross Stitch. We'll see how they go. I don't want to get too over. I just stitch as I go. Stitch what I like, when I like, how I like. I don't really have a rotation. It probably seems like it when you're following me on Instagram that I stitch for something for a week, which is sort of generally how I feel. Stitch for a week and then I feel like changing, and it just depends. Sometimes I stitch on things longer. No pressure. That's the best way to stitch. So that's all my whips and sort of plans. I am going to go on to my stitch back in time. Okay, so next is my stitch back in time. This is where I show pieces that I've stitched maybe the other day, a couple of months ago, a few years back, just to show you some of the things that I've done. So this piece that I'm about to show you is actually a fully finished object. It's a framed piece. It is called a Rezzo. It is by Nora Corbett. It is a piece that was done exclusively for an event in Italy, and then the chart was distributed by Casa Sanina as a semi-kit. So you get like the fabric and the chart from memory. So the fabric that I got for this, which was 32 count summer khaki, is actually the fabric that I used on my Stitch Rovia piece. I actually chose a different type of fabric for this. So this is a hand-drawn chart. So even if I hold this back, it's not going to contribute any. Just a quick flip. See, it's hand-drawn. So, old style, how they used to be. This is a beautiful piece. This has been stitched by quite a few people. My suggestion, if you are looking at doing this one, if you actually have this one or are looking to do it in the future, is to blow it up. Blow it up to about A3 size. It makes it a lot easier to follow. And once you get used to the symbols, then you'll find it a lot easier. So that's a Rezzo. Now this one I actually entered in our state royal show, Perth Royal Show, and it came third. You don't get any ribbons, just a certificate, and good on you. You get a little slip from them, like this. And it just says, congratulations, this pretty whimsical piece displays even stitching and tension, very good beading and blocking of work. This is what it looks like. There we go. This is a Rezzo, and this is stitched on, what is it stitched on? 32 count, hint of autumn, by the Crafty Kitten. She's beautiful. Like Romeo and Juliet. And this is framed by Chris at Effects Framing in Redcliffe in Perth. So any Perth stitchers who are looking for a really good framer for your needlework, he is one of the best in Western Australia. He does all our framing, both for my husband's landscape photos and also for my needlework. So it's sort of in a rustic gold frame. And he's also done the inner. I didn't give him any real specifics. We just give him freedom of being able to choose, sort of give him an idea of whether I want a matte or whether I want multiple mattes or what kind of frame I'm looking for, whether it be a particular colour, not always, but we pretty much just leave him to his own devices. So that's a Rezzo by Nora Corbett, 32 count, hint of autumn by the Crafty Kitten. Let's see if I can put this down here without breaking it. Okay, the next piece I'm going to show you is, it is framed, but I do not hang it. Everyone's different. For me, especially with these pieces, these are monochrome. So Heaven and Earth Designs, a lot of people know these as very heavy confetti or very detailed, many colours. But that's not all they do. They just do such a huge range, and if you haven't checked them out because you're a little fearful because you've only ever seen the heavy confetti or large charts, I would recommend that you do so. These are the monochrome ones, so these are just one colour charts. So this one is Ching Chou Kuik, and this is Black Rose. It's a full size Heaven and Earth, but it's only one colour. It is my first Heaven and Earth design finished, and the reason why I don't hang it is because I was stitching this whilst my husband was in intensive care. So when I see this piece, it doesn't hold the happiest of thoughts. I'm happy that I finished it. It's a beautiful piece, I really, really love it, but I don't hang it on the wall because it is a reminder of those hours and hours of sitting in the hospital car park, sitting in the hospital, sitting in intensive care with my husband. So yeah, but it's a beautiful piece, so I will show you what it looks like. It is stitched on, where are my papers? Sorry. Okay, here it is. Sorry about that. Okay, so this is stitched on 25 count antique rose Lugana. That's the big one. I think there's not too much glare on that. Is it dusty? I'm sorry. Like I said, I don't hang it. I don't hang it for that reason. It's a beautiful piece. It's a Heaven and Earth design. That's right, it's a Heaven and Earth design. So don't be afraid to try Heaven and Earth designs. They are well charted. One colour. One colour. That's all you need. That's Black Roses by Ching Chou Kuik. Love it. So when I finished this one, it gave me a bit of a drive to want to do more monochrome at the time. So I did another one. So I'll just put this one down, excuse me for a minute. Oops. The next piece that I did is a monochrome piece. It's a Heaven and Earth design. This is a quick stitch. This is again by Ching Chou Kuik. It is quick stitch ladybug, and it looks like this. It's just a little one. I think it was about 9 pages from memory. Now this one is stitched on 25 count Bush Morning Lugana by Stitches and Spice. And this is what it looks like. I apologise if it's a bit dusty. Again, I don't hang this one. These are the 2 pieces that are framed, but I don't hang them. And the reason why I don't hang this one is because I stitched this one during the Carnarvon floods where we lived. So we lost our roof, we had water coming up, we had water coming in, and so it doesn't hold the best of memories. But it's a gorgeous piece. Framer did a fantastic job. Again, this is Chris from Effects Framing in Redcliffe, here in Western Australia. So it's a black frame that's got like a bit of texture to it. You probably can't see it, I'm not sure. But again, that's a fully finished object. It's a Heaven and Earth design. It didn't take very long to do, and it's one colour. And I used, for this one, I actually used black hand-dyed fibre silk, which was gorgeous to work with. So it's not a Heaven and Earth design that's finished. I'll just put this one down. Okay, so that's my 3 fully finished objects. Now I have a few more that I wanted to show you because I wanted to show people that not to be intimidated with Heaven and Earth designs because they are fantastic. You can start small, you can work up, you can work with one colour, you can work with a couple of colours, or you can jump straight in and do the confetti. There's just so many different options. One piece that I have been working on, it's not finished, it's one that I've tucked away because I've been working on other pieces. Again, I don't really have a strict rotation, I just work on what calls to me. This one is again by Ching Chou Kuik because she does a lot of the monochrome pieces. Is Sunflower, and it looks like this. It's smaller than Black Rose, but similar styling. Looks like that. Again, one colour. And this one I am stitching on, let me see, this one is on 25 count Eureka Lugana. And it looks like this. Now this Eureka Lugana is from Stitches and Spice, and they're no longer in business. Hopefully it's not too see-through. There we go. Eureka, like the gold here in Western Australia with history. So that's the start of it. Just DMC 310, and I'll finish that eventually. I just stitch it as it comes, but again, it's a heaven and earth piece, no stress, just one colour. It's doable, people. Now, I love Hannah Lynn pieces. I love it because I have a cone of DMC 310, the big cones that I've shown in previous videos of 310, and I like to stitch the black outline of my Hannah pieces. And then fill in the colour afterwards. I'll show an example. Like this one's not finished. This was a stitch along that Heaven and Earth Design did back in 2013, which looks like this. This is called Heather by Hannah Lynn. She's like a steampunk. So with this one, I chose to stitch this on 28 count Perfectly Plum Jovelin, but when I ordered it, it didn't arrive in time for the start date. So thankfully I called Naomi at Stitches and Spice at the time, and she very kindly sent me a piece of 28 count Coral Jewels Royal Purple Jovelin. So I started it, and it looks like that. Plus purple, and it's just the start. So there's like 4 pages, one released each month. Nice detail, so you get the black outline and everything. And then when I got to that point, Stephanie at Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie sent me a replacement piece because the first initial piece she sent obviously went walkabouts. And when I received it, I was like, oh, I forgot to do it on that because that's what I intended to do it on. So I'll probably stitch this twice. I know I don't normally stitch things twice, but it just doesn't seem right to start one of these and not finish it. So this is Perfectly Plum. It's gorgeously bright fabric. 28 count Jovelin. Do you see how bright purple that is? I don't stitch on purple, but that's purple. That's what she looks like. So basically all I do is I do the black outline first, and then I go through and I fill in all the colour. So that one's just about finished. So I may pull that one out at some point during this year and pop in a few stitches and get her finished. Again, it's not a difficult stitch. That's pretty small. That's about the size of a greeting card. So it's not too intimidating. Now, another Hannah Lynn piece that I stitched that I love, and I have finished the black outline. Because that's what I do. I pick out the colour. It's nice and simple. It's sort of that nice thick black outline. So this one is Easter Lily Fairy by Hannah Lynn. And she has those gorgeous wings. So I have the little ACO as well. I bought from Hannah off her website. And I'm stitching her on a piece of Summer Sky Opalescent. I believe it's 28 count from memory. Could be wrong. And it's so sparkly. So I've done the black outline. This is what she looks like. Now, the thing with these is if you get to the point where you finish the black outline and you think, oh my god, I can't do anymore, then you can just frame it like this. There's a lot of people that are stitching the Wizard of Oz series. Just the black outline. That's it. And they look stunning. You could pick a hand-dyed fabric. This, I chose an opalescent fabric because she's a fairy, so I am actually going to fill in the colour on this one. And she has some fairy wings, so you won't see that if I didn't put the colour in, you wouldn't know she was a fairy, because they don't have any black in them. So that's my Easter Lily Fairy. She's supposed to be cut off like that. That's where the edge of the picture is. But she's gorgeous, and she will get coloured in eventually. but she's a handling piece. So again, start small, do the black outline first, see how you go. Not again, try something different for 2017. Okay, still in the monochrome because they were fun, they were fast, quick to stitch. You can never have enough monochrome, I'm telling you. So the next piece that I did at that time was, what's this one? Dream of Iris by Ching Chou Kuik. And this is stitched on a piece of 25 count Rocky Creek Canyon Lugana by Stitches and Spice. Just with DMC 310. It's pretty. And again, one colour, nice and easy. But that's not all. I did another one. This is quick stitch Dahlia. Dahlia is like pink or orange or yellow, the flowers. This is stitched on a piece of 28 count Sassy Jaslyn from Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. I might just pop a piece of paper behind this. Looks like this. Again, one colour, not a very long stitch, nice and easy, and a heaven and earth design. Beautiful. And I did one more piece that was monochrome, but I changed. So I'd never worked with silks back then and thought, oh, I might give these a go and see what the rave is about. You know, people telling me how soft they are, gorgeous to work with, feel like, you know, the thread's like butter going through the fabric. So I chose Ching Chou Kuik's, what is it? Quick Stitch Dragonflies. And I decided to use HDF silk in a colour called Dragon's Hoard, and it's stitched on 28 count Moonbeam Lugana by Stitches and Spice, and it looks like this. So it's just a test piece. It was just to test out silks to see what it was like. Wanted something that I could use it for. I figured dragonflies with their wings have that sort of iridescent type shine to them. Loved it, love silks. So that was a lot of fun to stitch and not very long, and it's a heaven and earth design. That's another one finished. So you too can do that. A couple of other handlings that I'm just going to quickly show you that I've stitched. One is Tea Fairy, looks like this. I don't have the printout of the front page at the moment. Looks like this. And I'm stitching this on a piece of Mama Bear from Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. And as you can see, I've just started with the black. Looks like that. That's 25 count Lugana, that one is actually. Another piece that I do, this is some oatmeal opalescent, 28 count I think. This one I pull out, I do a couple of stitches each Christmas. It is Star of Wonder by Hannah Lynn. It's a heaven and earth, it looks like this. And I just pull it out each year. I've actually got the page for this one, so it looks like that. And I have started it. I start it each year. I just pop a few stitches in. Because nothing says Christmas like sparkly things, like Krennic or opalescent fabric or... She's beautiful. I love her. Now, another thing I was going to say about Heaven and Earth designs is you can actually get the background removed on things. So I have a piece that I absolutely love, but I was like, oh, no way I'm going to stitch the background on that. Which was Release by the Vintage Angel, otherwise known as Jessica Galbraith. It looks like this. Just beautiful. I see the variation in the background. I'm like, no, I don't want to stitch that. So I asked and requested for it to be removed. And then I got Dawn at the Crafty Kitten at the time to do a custom die. Now this is a hard way to dye this piece, because you're trying to dye something in a circular motion. She did it. Look at this. Amazing. So dark at the top and around the side, light in the middle. I mean, she did a couple of test dyes to do it, so she went to a lot of work to try and get this to happen, but wow. And then look at the detail in the dove. I mean, it's like almost 3D, like, I love it. So I'm not currently working on this piece. I have other focus pieces that I'm wanting to work on at the moment, but nothing is a UFO. I don't have any UFOs. They're just whips waiting. Beautiful. I love it. So that was my stitch back in time. So I do love Heaven and Earth design. So if you're thinking of doing a Heaven and Earth design, I would seriously recommend that you have a look at the website. They do have beginners ones. And if you're a little afraid of the multitude of colours on a lot of the charts, then like I said, try a monochrome. One colour. Give it a go. Now I'm going to move over to just some questions that people have asked that I haven't had a chance to answer, or that people have messaged me about, and just wrap things up. So one of the questions that I had was how I stored things for my Heaven and Earth designs. I have different storage depending on what I'm working on. So when I do the stitch alongs, like the Lakeside Needlecrafts, Under the Sea and Insect Sale, I put them in floss away bags. So I just have a thread like that, and once I've finished doing those stitch alongs, then I then pop them onto bobbins and I put them in my storage. I have like a 5-drawer storage chest that I keep my full range of DMC in. I don't have them all, but I have a lot. My husband's making faces behind the camera. I have a lot. When I do my Mirabilis, so when I did Santa's Sleigh, I keep, I have 2 little bags like this. So this is one of them. I just pick these up from Typo. You could probably use pencil cases. I mean, everyone has different things. Little mini project bags. There's plenty of people out there that do them. Little House Needlecrafts, Nell, So Much to Love, Mama Joan. I mean, you can pick those sort of things up. These are just little bags that I picked up from Typo here in Australia. And I would just pop my threads in on bobbins and my beads. So these just have the beads from when I did Santa's Sleigh. I put them away yet. So when I do Mirabilis, that's how I store them. I have one for my beads and I have one for my threads. So currently for the Dreamer, that's how I have it set up. I have a bag for my threads, and the beads, there's only 2 packets of beads, so they're shoved in there as well. Now with my Heaven and Earth designs, because I haven't worked on my Heaven and Earth as in confetti heavy pieces until this year, I use bobbin boxes. So just your standard craft box you can pick up from pretty much anywhere. Fishing, Kmart, these are in the fishing section and the hardware section. I'm sure anywhere across the world, any department store would have these, or craft outlet. And inside, I have them all on bobbins, like this. I don't know if you can get an actual shot of that, but my bobbins all have the DMC numbers listed as well as the colours. So I'll hold up a handful I've got here, see if we can get them around the right way. Alright. Now I'll do my best to show you because I didn't want to rustle in the bag. But like, can you see? So they have like the DMC number, and then they actually have the colour of the DMC. So if you've got a Heaven and Earth chart, when they chart them, they have the DMC number, and they also have the name printed of what the colour is called. There's their exact name. They're really good. So I use these for my Heaven and Earth designs. These are from Itching to Stitch on eBay. I'm not sure whether or not they're still selling on eBay. But Itching to Stitch, and they also came with a little booklet so you could keep a track of which ones you have in stock, in your own supply, and what you've run out of. They're really good. Nice and neat, doesn't rub off. So that's what my bobbin box looks like. I've probably got about 15 to 17 colours that aren't sitting in there at the moment. I'm currently using them and I've just taken them out for the moment. But yeah, they're all pre-printed. And I only do that for my Heaven and Earth pieces. Nice and neat, nice and organised. And that way, if I can't see the DMC number, because I like to try and keep it in order, they're not in the moment. I try and keep them in DMC order, but if I can't, they've got the colour printed next to them, so it makes it nice and easy. So that is how I do my Heaven and Earth design storage. So stitch-alongs, Mirabilis, and my Heaven and Earth, that's how I store my items. So I hope that helps. I use Q-snaps. I used to stitch in hand, but have since changed over to Q-snaps. I find that a lot easier, and the tension is phenomenal. The other thing I was going to talk about is in December. It was my birthday. I turned 39. I'm 40 this year, don't tell anyone. And in the Cross Stitch and Discuss group, they have a little thing during the month where you put your name down if it's your birthday in that month, and someone in the group will send you a skein of floss. So I got 3 cards. I got one from Stella. It's a handmade card. Looks like this. And it's a skein of 374 in Anchor. Now I don't use Anchor thread. The thread's thread, people. So I can use this. I will find someone to use it. And the next card I got is from the amazing Deborah. I won't say last names because I don't know if they're okay with me doing that. And this is the card she sent. And she sent me DMC S702. It's silk. It's beautiful, it's soft, it's silky. So thank you, Deborah. That's beautiful. And the third one I got was fantastic. The envelope, and I've blocked out the envelope. So this card is from Deb. And again, I won't say her name, last name. Look at the envelope. That's so pretty. And the back. And then this is the card. That is so cool. And so the thread that I got was Anchor? Yep, Anchor 945. 945? Yep, 945. So it's like a brownie tanny colour. Again, I don't use Anchor, but thread is thread, and it will get used. So thank you, ladies. That was really, really awesome. And thank you, Udi and Jessica, for setting that up. That was really cool to get that. And like I said earlier, I was very, very lucky, and I received a overlocker for my birthday, which was a huge surprise, and has been absolutely fantastic, because as you've seen in some of my pieces that I showed back in the days, I would put masking tape down the side, or they would just be unserged. A lot of the fabrics that we get here in Australia, other than the amazing Tanny at Colour Cascades, they're not serged, so they tend to come and they arrive and they're already starting to fray. So having the ability to serge it is fantastic. I mean, if I didn't have the serger, I would just use my sewing machine and zigzag it, or use tape, or free check, or whatever you need to do. That's what we do. So yeah, it was fantastic. It was great. It was a really nice surprise. So December in 2016, it was a pretty crappy end. 2017 has been a little hard. I have another bout of tendinopathitis in my hand. That's why my hand is splintered. They didn't say I couldn't stitch. Didn't say no stitching, Fleur. So I am still stitching. I will have to see an orthopedic surgeon to have my hand operated on now, because I've had it quite a few times and I only had it treated last year. So we'll see how that goes. But in the interim, I'm trying to stitch. It is making my stitching slower. I know I get a lot of comments from people commenting on how fast I stitch. I don't think I'm a very fast stitcher. There are times where I may be stitching on a small piece and it doesn't take very long because it's only a small piece. There are larger pieces that are more confetti heavy that takes me a bit more time. Everybody stitches at their own pace. I find with the lighting issues and with my hands that it just depends. Some days are good days, some days are not so great. And so I just work with what I can, no pressure, just do what I can. I do like to stitch every day. I'm not stitching 24/7. I don't wake up in the morning and stitch until the moment I go to bed. I have 4 children and a husband, and I have obligations and things that I need to take care of. So I stitch generally in the evenings, but as my light's not so great, I try and stitch sort of in the late afternoons while there's still a bit of light, because it's summer at the moment, still in Western Australia. So just a last little shout out. I just wanted to shout out to Mischievous Stitches on FlossTube. If you haven't seen her, she's new to FlossTube. Fantastic videos so far. I really like seeing them. But she gave me a shout out, and I just wanted to also give a shout out back to her because she is new. And if you haven't seen her, please go and check her out. As well as Stitching Mummy. She just put up a video the other day. She's new as well. So let's get behind her and give her a bit of support. To Joe Gregoire, I think that's what you guys call it. I call it Joe Gregory. So I don't know, Joe, you tell us. How do we pronounce it? She came back. That's fantastic. It's good to see that you're feeling better. I'm really, really excited to see you back on the screen. It's so funny. I also wanted to say to Stitcherista, keep pushing, girl. You're doing well. And to Jill, your best friend, it's good to see her on the FlossTube channel. I saw her video the other day. To see her little boy who's growing up so quickly, and to make the time to make a video just to keep in check with us is just fantastic. So thank you, Jill. The other FlossTubers that I've mentioned, I will pop a link down below. They have been amazing. They are great inspiration. If you're new to the stitching world or you haven't heard of FlossTube, it's good that if you see a FlossTube video and they do mention different FlossTubers, it's good just to note them down. Give them a view and see, because you're picking up different techniques, different ideas, different suggestions and encouragement. So I would really, really push you to check other people out and maybe give them a mention, just so that we can all go and have a look at them. So I've told you what my February plans are already, so I'll be back in the first week of March to do another update. So until then, happy stitching and have a great day. Bye.